Aran Craft, really stepping into Irish heritage and craftsmanship, a merino wool shawl, which is really fun because I think it's one of the most wearable, easy pieces to whether gift yourself or gift to somebody that you love. You have a fringe trim and a special sale price of $119.98. So Barry's going to hang with us again, Barry Cullen, who is one of the family members and kind of a deep connection with Aran Craft pieces, which we'll talk about.
I think what I love about this one is it's actually one of our oldest designs. This is one that my grandmother used herself, and to see that it's now fashionable again and something that's so practical in the modern world.
Green. See, I would have thought that you did this to be very in vogue. To be very fashion forward.
This is a design that like a normal shawl would usually just be like a large scarf, but we just added a little bit of extra material. This is your mulberry.
There's the mulberry. And then ultramarine is that deep dark blue, and it's almost like a mix of the black and blue.
Yeah, and of course these are all marled colors. So what that means is that each individual thread is composed of two complementing colors. So as in the mulberry that you can see there, there's a wine and a kind of a plum color. In the meadow green, there's two colors of green. In the parsnip, you've got a beautiful toasted oatmeal kind of color and natural. And then, as you said, there's a black and blue in that ultramarine. And so, yeah, this is something that's great. There's so many ways to wear this. I've seen people who've taken it and actually just putting one over their shoulder like that.
Like you would a scarf.
You could get a small pin and you could just pin them together where they meet in the middle. And also, Jane Tracy had this amazing way of wearing it, where she actually had a belt around her back, under the back of the shawl, and then just closing it over the two front parts.
Yeah.
And it was so modern looking.
Yes, you could wear it closed in the front. Oh, here, let me even myself out. Oh, I did it the wrong way. You could do a closure right up here.
Yeah.
Right, to wear it almost like a closed piece. Of course, you're going to put like a tank or a T-shirt or even a crisp white button-up underneath would be beautiful. But you mentioned this being a style that your grandmother wore.
Yeah, so she loved to do her own hand knitting as well. She used to always knit things particularly in like mohair for her grandchildren. And she would be in her favorite spot in the sitting room. She would have her yarn in one pocket and her needles in the other. And then this is also that thing that she was as she got older, she was constantly complaining that the house was full of drafts, and it was a 200-year-old house. Of course, it was. It was full of drafts. So this is the thing you just throw over your shoulder when you're having your cup of tea in the afternoon.
Yeah. Well, and the heritage of these pieces is unparalleled. This one right here is our green meadow. We also have the parsnips. That's a really soft, beautiful neutral. You have your choice of the mulberry.
And
the mulberry that I have on is going to be the first to sell out. There's about 150 to go around. And then this one's that ultramarine. Two really easy sizes to choose from, Missy and Plus. So it makes it really simple. You don't have to get to the exact address. You just get to the neighborhood when it comes to sizing.
And the only difference is that there's an additional 2 inches on the back.
Okay, between the Missy and the Plus. Perfect. Remind us again, if somebody's new to hearing Aran Craft, how this really heritage brand started, because it's by a female powerhouse.
So it was started in 1957 by my by my grandmother Molly Cullen, who was a real trailblazer of her time, a formidable woman. And like many of her generation, she had to travel to America, and where herself and her sister went, and they sent money back home to their families because there was very little going on in Ireland at the time. But after being over there for many years, she wanted to come back to Ireland because she had family there, and she wanted to start her business. Of course, the local bank in a small town of Monastravan, County Kildare, they weren't going to give a woman a loan to start a business by herself. So it was actually her sister who stayed on for many years working as a governess in upstate New York, who sent her back the money to buy that very first machine. And the rest, they say, is history. It was continued on by her two sons, Paul and John. John, who was a guest on QVC here for many, many years, and now enjoying his retirement. And Paul is my father, and now it's continuing with myself and my brother, and of course my sister-in-law Emma, who's currently on QVC One main channel.
It's a big day.
Yeah, and so it's a multi-generational thing. We're so proud to be able to take like something like this, which I would think of like as something that's so quintessentially Molly, and just now be able to bring it in 100% merino wool. Of course, if you don't know about merino wool and you had the ideas of the old-fashioned wool sweaters, which were itchy, which were kind of dense and just weren't comfortable, merino wool will completely change your mind. I'm wearing a merino wool sweater. It's next to my skin here. It is perfectly warm, it's great for regulating your body temperature. It's something that can be worn directly against your skin. You don't have to worry about it. The fibers are between 22 and 24.5 microns, which is about a quarter the thickness of a human hair. And it's these silky soft fibers that are brushing up against your skin. So this is such a great starter piece because it's also the only thing we do with fringe. Every time I see this, I think, why don't we do fringe on more things?
Well, and I think it's something that you can grab as almost an accessory piece.
Yeah.
Right, to give you that little extra warmth, like you would a jacket or an extra sweater.
And because of the two sizes, it's very giftable. You don't have to know what the size is. This is the perfect thing. And even if you were off by a little bit, a couple of inches, it's not going to make a difference. I don't know if you're not sure, size up. It's just going to be more generous.
Yeah, you need to make a choice today because it has been a very popular piece. Not only is Barry bringing us our today's special value, which is a really beautiful cardigan, but this open front shawl has been really popular. I am in that mulberry color. Okay, so mulberry is like that kind of warm wine shade. We also have the meadow green, which would have been perfect too to wear today. I also love the parsnip too, because it's
Parsnips are neutral.
Yeah, and I like this over, especially in the spring and summer. You know, while you're sitting around a bonfire or taking a stroll on the beach, this is the color that would be so pretty to put on. I think I said purdy.
Purdy.
It would be purdy. Okay, here's that mulberry again, and then we also have it in that midnight blue, which is called ultramarine. So that ultramarine blue. So normally this is $146. Our sale price today is $119.98. Now I have another question for you.
Yes.
Do Irish children expect a visitor from a leprechaun to their home?
I remember when we were children, we were raised watching a lot of the leprechaun movies, like the likes of Darby O'Gill and the Little People. I do remember we were always wondering when we were going to be able to find one ourselves. And we used to have a babysitter, this old woman who used to babysit us, and she was constantly kind of tricking us into saying that there was a leprechaun who was going to visit us as soon as we went to bed. As soon as we went to bed, and they'd leave a coin for you behind. Something tells me she might have been making that up.
That sounds like a great babysitter. Can I hire her for my kids? So, yeah, my kids have set up leprechaun traps at school.
Oh,
that's like I don't know if anybody else does it, but it seems like it's very common here in America.
What do they use to bait the leprechaun trap?
It depends. So they can bring in little things from home. Last year, my kids used gold slime because they thought the leprechaun would get stuck in the slime. But instead, he just snuck past the trap, but used our toilet and left a little green in the toilet and didn't flush it. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So with 5 easy payments of $24, it's your lucky day. So we're talking all things Irish. And, you know, I shared this a little earlier in our show. I've been lucky to travel to places like Germany and Egypt and Thailand and been in West Africa and Uganda and even shopped for, you know, special souvenirs. And sometimes you buy something and it just sits on your shelf at home, but when you have a piece that you can wear and you know has been made in Ireland. Sometimes I've traveled places and I've gone to a market and the person that we're with has said, no, that's not actually made here. So isn't it lovely to know that you are getting something that's authentic?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of Aran Craft. Yeah. You also turn heads in like Paris and Milan.
I think
as well.
Jane was saying when she just happened to actually call around when we had our big trade show in January. Jane was over with the buying team, and as soon as she came on the stand, the first thing she said was the people who were on the stand, there were people speaking French, Italian, German. There was people from all walks of life. It's great for us because we can celebrate the Irish heritages, but a lot of people, they're buying this because they just think it's a wonderful piece of knitwear. So it's a bonus if it relates to your Irish diaspora. But at the end of the day, it's also just a beautiful piece of knitwear and it's a beautiful piece of fashion. Yeah,
and because you use those time-honored traditions of craftsmanship and the knitting, that's what makes it so beautiful.
The foundations are all there.
Yeah.
So if you can use it to celebrate your heritage, all the better. But it's not necessary.
Yeah, you really are.
These are for anybody.
You truly are a global brand.
Yeah.
Not just in Ireland, and our partnership here at QVC selling beautiful Irish craft pieces and authentic made in Ireland pieces for now 37 years here at QVC. So here's the situation. A lot of you are grabbing this shawl in the fringe trim you're loving, and so it's sitting in your cart. And it's important that you check out because it's not yours until you get the thank you for your confirmation order. We can only bring in so many. So this is a really good time to make sure you're checking out of your cart and placing your order. The color that I have on is mulberry. We also have our meadow green that's so pretty. And that just feels like,
oh yeah,
you know, so fresh and springtime. There's that mulberry again.
Mulberry's beautiful.
And here's the parsnip. Now, I know we're showing this on the hanger. You don't need to hang it at home, just fold it.
Yeah, that's the thing. This type of knitwear folded at a direct sunlight, and that's the best way to take care of it.
And best way to wash it is, how did you call it? The air wash?
Air wash. The best way to wash it is to never wash it. Dry clean if you absolutely must. Air wash it is really what I recommend, which is really just draping it over, even if it's across a couple of chairs or an airing horse if you have, just outside to get some fresh air to flow through it. And that will remove 90% of your problems. It's usually picking up maybe like if you're at a bonfire, like you mentioned earlier on, like a little bit of wood smoke or something like that might linger on it. Other than that, fold it up, keep it at direct sunlight, and this is something you're going to be wearing time after time.
So Barry meant 90% of your problems with cleaning, not in life. See, I thought that was 90%. I was like, that's great.
Well, I think there's probably a lot of problems that from just having a little lie out on a breezy day as well.
Right, I think so too. Barry, thank you
Refresh
so much.
your soul.
You've got a busy day on QVC throughout the day for the St. Patrick's Day. So thank you for being with us too on holiday
it's lovely being here.
you.
Listen, and happy St. Patrick's Day to all your viewers.
Barry, thank you so much. All right, place your orders if it's in your cart. I got to give you a